You see, that's how crazy the Nigerian system is. You spend 4 years, you spend 5 years, you spend 6 years. In fact, you spend 7 or even 8 years because, oh, there's ASU strike. And ASU strike may even last for almost a year. You spend all those years in school and then you come out and you cannot say, oh, this was where I made a mistake in my assignment, because there is no feedback. You're given a test in the space of 5 minutes, you're to write that test, you're to submit that test. There's no feedback like, oh, this is where you failed. So you walk through all those years of your life not even knowing the areas where you erred, and then you go to them and ask them, oh, can I get a feedback on my test? And then they ask you, how much are they paying us? Which is quite understandable, oh, because these people will not be paid for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then when they're eventually paid, they are paid in halves. But that's something we would come back to, the pay and their work. So you go to them and say, oh sir, I would like a feedback on my text, on my test. And if you're a girl, if you're a woman, they're looking at your finger, you're not married, that means you can give me what I want now. And when you hear stories of university girls, you just feel very sorry. Even the married ones are not exempted though, because those ones, in fact, I think some lecturers, some professors, they have a special liking to, once they see ring on a lot of married women's finger, they have a special liking to them. But what is going on really? How can I not know what I got in my test? Till today, I can't say, oh, this is where I did wrong in my test. Except maybe I remember the questions, or I took the questions down on my phone and I go back and I revise by myself. And it's so strenuous. Like, there should be proper feedback in tests. Test is even too far. How about assignments? Assignment is another whole shebang on its own. Assignments are not progressive. They're giving you questions like, find out why A is the first letter of the alphabet. Fine. Maybe that is some groundbreaking assignment. But, okay, when I find out why A is the first letter of the alphabet, okay, then what? What am I going to do with that? How is that going to help my community in any way? Because we have to give assignments that fit our community. We have to give assignments that fit issues of a country. Isn't that what the whole purpose of an assignment is? To be assigned a task. And what are the use of task? To better a particular area, to better a community, then eventually better the country. Isn't that what assignments and tasks are for? Or maybe I'm getting it wrong. I stand to be corrected anyway. And so you walk through those 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. You're just breezing in, and the only thing that takes you to school really is attendance. Because, oh, if you don't have so attendance in your class, then you cannot write a test. The test that 6 people share a desk, and then out of that 6, the last person, if you're so unlucky, because most of the times we are unlucky, we drag our legs to the class, because why are we attending a class that the test is not progressive? I mean, I could have been sharpening my photography skills during those times. Why am I scavenging for a seat? And then this is our test paper, and then we put on our lap, and then we bend the other way, and then we write. Mind you, there's extortion too. So where do they expect students to get this money from, and also get money to pay their textbooks, and also have time to focus and read? Because if you were really concerned about children's well-being and children's knowledge, if that was your primary concern, you will not force a textbook of 7 kids. You will not force it down their throats. I don't know how to explain this to you, except you've experienced it. And I don't want to exaggerate it, because I'm not exaggerating. And then the textbook is like a check-in to write a test. I'm not in any way saying that, oh, we should not get textbooks and all of that, but I'm saying, considering the country, considering our system, considering everything, everyone's anger is just poured on students. Somehow we are just expected to just fight through and just until one day we give up. But hope sustains. So please don't give up. If you're facing this, I'm sorry, you have to keep going, because you have to remain hopeful. The day you lose hope, please don't lose hope. because the institutions will always continue, really. And our systems are so, the systems are so bad. There's no learning environment. You know, when you talk about learning environments and you talk about how ladies on the days of their cramps, they need ventilation and all of that, you will hear some backhand snacky comments like, when we told you people to stay in the house, sure, you people would not stay in the house. So I'm wondering, so you rather a whole gender stays at home forever than just break a window and just ventilate the class? You rather push a whole gender back to the house instead of just making better systems? How bad it is. And I wish there was a way I could get this on tape. But what are the odds that that statement will be made again? It will be made again. I mean, it's Nigeria. You will surely hear things like that. And so there are no labs. And so these children are learning. These children in sciences, not children, these adults are learning in sciences. And we're using touch, something as small. This is even bright. This is a very, very bright light. Why isn't something as small as a Nokia touch, a small phone, and you're telling students to on their lights because there is no light to even see? God forbid that bad chemicals pours on somebody's leg. Then what are you going to tell their parents? What is going to happen? Then the excuse is going to be the government is not paying us well now. Oh my gosh. Do you know what we need? We need a complete breakdown and we need a proper build-up, because people are suffering and people are still writing admission. Oh. I'm sure in my time there were older ones that passed before me saying, people are still entering school in 2018. It was ridiculous, but we were happy. I mean, we were going to university. I wasn't particularly happy or sad. I was very indifferent about the case because at that time I already knew how the university system was going to work. I had read books about it. I had had people go before me, so I had some idea. So I was not a complete novice, so I was not all that excited. I went into school with the whole idea that, okay, I'm going into school to network, really, basically, and to have creative freedom, not really go hang out or maybe meet people or anything, but to have creative freedom. So I started photography even before I got into school. But that's by the way. And somehow I was fortunate enough to get phones in between. And then times when I had gigs that my phone could not carry, I would tell the person, look, this is the kind of phone I'm using. And luckily, for some reason, they always had a bigger phone. And I would be surprised when they say, oh, I don't mind, you can use mine. I'm like, you're still going to pay me even though I use your phone? I say, sure. I'm like, this is only luck. This is only luck, because they could have just afforded someone with, a better device. And this is just what the system does to you. And you have to do all that and still go to school and still push through. How are we doing it? I'm sure someone at that time when I just entered would say, how are you doing it? I mean, school is not something you should waste your time on. How are you doing it? And then we're asking the same questions now. How are you doing it? And how are you doing it? Really, how are you doing it? Please, please, please keep hope alive, because hope is all you need, really. Keep hope alive. Read the gospel. That's what worked for me. I would recommend the gospel to anybody. Read the gospel. Keep hope alive, really. Look at the bright side of things. Always look at the bright side of things. Always try to look at the bright side of things. But how are you coping so far, really? And how is the extortion? And how do you manage on the days when you have cramps and then your stomach is running and then you need to find a toilet, but the toilet is 5 minutes away, and when you get there it's so dirty, and the cleaners try to do a good job, but girls will still mess it up. And it's not like there's no water. A lot of times there's water. So we are our own problem at this point. And if you like, don't GCK. If you like, GCK. Honestly, at this point, please GCK. Please. Just be GCK and be going.